Okay, so I was planning to record while I was walking, but then school ended, so the horde of kids came out. Anyways, so I was trying to think what I should do this video on, and I was like, since I'm a language teacher, I teach English here in France, why not talk about something that I noticed? So something that I noticed as to why French people have bad English levels. Don't get me wrong, not all French people. Some people do speak quite well, but on the large scale majority of French people have bad English levels. So what I noticed is one of the reasons might be like fear of being ridiculed, because so I teach very young kids. Okay, I teach all ages. I teach as young as 1 year old and as old as whoever wants to learn. My oldest student that I have right now, I think she's like 70, late 70s, early 80s. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't ask her age. But anyways, yes. So even as young as the kids that I have, I realize like they don't want to make mistakes because they're afraid that the other kids are going to laugh at them or make fun of them, which they do. So in my class, they don't, because like the first sign of that, I cut that out. It's like, nah, brah, not here. But talking to some of the older ones at school, that's a problem. Like if you pronounce something the right way, which is like sounding native like, they make fun of you because they're like, oh, you're trying too hard, like blah, blah, blah. Because I have a student who explained this, like she speaks with a British accent because a majority of her teachers growing up came from the UK, I think. So she just mimicked. But even her mimicking the accent, people made fun of her, but she didn't care because she loves English. So she ignored them. But the majority of people, they don't ignore. So like, yeah, she was explaining people made fun of her because she had a good accent. And I'm like, what do you mean? I find that crazy. So they make fun of you if you have a good accent, and they make fun of you if you don't. Because I have another student who just turned 13, and she's saying like at her school, they make fun of her because she doesn't have a good accent. Now, to me, she doesn't have the typical French accent. If you know what that is, I can't mimic it. Like, I'm very bad at the French accent. But it's like a lot of French people, when they speak English, they have like the very strong French accent, if you know what I mean. I'm gonna insert a clip, so you know what I mean.
Hello, I've worked for 3 years in human resource.
Anyways, so she doesn't have that. She doesn't have the stereotypical French accent when speaking English. I would say she just has like a neutral accent. She doesn't have the strong French accent, but at the same time, she doesn't sound native. So in her class, she said people make fun of her because apparently a lot of kids who go to her school in the section that she is, because the school has 2 sections, I think. One is like an English track where most of the courses are in English, or they do a large focus on English language itself. Anyways, so what she was saying is that majority of the students in her class, one of the parents is either a native English speaker or a non-French person but speaks English very well. So they don't have the stereotypical French accent. They speak native like, whatever that is. So they make fun of her. And I'm like, the fudge? What do you mean they make fun of you? Like, there's nothing wrong with your accent. You enunciate, you pronounce your words. It's fine. Like, as long as you can be understood, what's the problem? So I think that's the main thing. Like, people, they're afraid of being ridiculed, make fun of, things like that. So they lack the confidence to speak. Which, when learning a language, speaking is important. So that's the other thing. Some French people that I've encountered, on paper, they have a good English level. Like, they can read and understand to the most point. But their comprehension, level of comprehension is not there when it comes to listening and speaking, which I think that's larger because they don't practice. They don't have someone to speak with, or they don't try to practice by themselves. So I think that's why as well, that contributes to it. Also in schools, like there's a large, which I think this is universal. Like I've worked in China before and I see this similar thing where on paper, their English level is great, but speaking in reality, it's not, because they don't practice, they don't speak, or they don't have like a lot of input, audio input or whatever. So they're missing a lot of vocabulary, which I think, yeah, I think around the world, not all, but majority of places, when they teach a second or third or fourth language, depending on where, they focus on the academic portion of it. So they focus on reading, writing, passing exams, but not actual practical use. So that's like the second thing that I noticed. The third thing that I would say is a lot of them, a lot of French people, they, I don't know what's the word I could use, but in their mind, it's like, oh, why do I need English? I live in France, we speak French, which I've seen with some of my students, some of my young students who are like between the age of 5 and 8, have said to me in the past, like, oh, why do I need to learn English? We live in France, we speak French. And I try to explain to them like, yeah, but if you travel to a country where you don't speak the language, the next option is English. Like if you go to, let's use Japan. If you go to Japan, you don't speak Japanese. I mean, of course, if they don't speak English, they don't speak Japanese. But if you go to Japan, you don't speak Japanese, the next bet is English, because you can probably find someone who speaks English. Or if you go to, I don't know, Brazil, you don't speak Portuguese, the next bet is English. You'd more likely find someone who speaks English than French. French is kind of popular. It's one of the popular languages, so maybe you can find French speakers, but English is the best bet. So I could try to explain to them like that. Or like I try to explain to them, imagine there's like a foreign student who just moved to France and they're in your class and you want to play with them, but they don't speak French yet, but they speak English. Like English could be useful, right? They couldn't care less, because in their mind, they can't see that far ahead. But even adults, like, they don't see that far ahead. They're like, oh, I live in France. I don't plan to move anywhere. But they don't think of the business opportunities. Like one of my students that I have, the reason why he started English 3 years ago was because there was a work opportunity that came up, but he couldn't get it because he didn't speak English. So like now, like when he started 3 years ago, he was like A2. When he started 3 years ago, he was at like, he was like an A1-ish, between A1 and A2. So he did the A2 course and finished it and moved on to B1. But yeah, so like he saw the benefit, but too late, because he missed out on a business opportunity because of that. So I think a lot of people are going to realize that in the future, that it's good for business, depending on what field of work they go into. So I think, yeah, those are like the 3 main reasons I notice: the fear of being ridiculed, the learning English in school for academic purposes, so passing an exam or whatever, or they think it's not necessary because they live in France and we speak French here. Which, okay, I get it. You can have pride in the language you speak, but at the same time, come now. Stay tuned for more videos. I don't know what the other videos will be about, but life in France, maybe. I do have a lot of travel stuff from previous trips, but a lot of them are photos. and not videos, because I never really thought of like putting videos on here. But I figure, hey, this could be like a online journal, online video journal. Whoever wanna watch, watch. If you don't wanna watch, you don't watch. That's how it goes. But yeah, I'll figure out what my next video will be about. I don't know. We will see. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you want.